Hi there, welcome to Auditing with Autism. I'm a late diagnosed autistic man who likes to discuss philosophy and music, and of course, autism. That's why I named my channel Auditing with Autism, because I live my life with autism and I like to discuss my experiences. Today, I want to discuss the experience I had of watching a video on YouTube about fleas. Maybe you guys have seen this video, it's really crazy. The scientists, they had a little 6-inch clear plastic box. They then put a bunch of flea babies in the box. They were basically unhatched fleas. They put a few hundred of these fleas in the box. And then as the fleas hatched, they started to live their life, but their world was contained inside this 6-inch tall box. And so what happened was, as the fleas grew up and lived their life, they could only jump as high as the box would let them, which was 6 inches, right? And so, the average jump for a flea, I think, is about a meter, maybe 3.5 feet, something like that. So what was surprising to me was when the scientists took the fleas out of the box, all the fleas had been conditioned to only jump 6 inches. And for the rest of their lives, they never jumped their full height, their full 3 feet. They never reached their potential. They had the potential, it was latent, and it was inside of them, and they had an instinct to jump a meter, but because they had experienced life in a limited way, they never reached for that potential. They never knew it existed. And what was really surprising, I mean, the thing that really blew my brain was when these same fleas that could only jump 6 inches, well, they discovered that when these fleas had babies, those baby fleas grew up and they also could only jump 6 inches. I mean, can you believe it? Even though they never had lived in the box, they ran around and only jumped 6 inches. And so, this to me is a really important story to discuss how we have maybe many latent potentials inside of us. We have things that we can do inside of us that we are not reaching for, that we don't even know that we have. A good example, really quickly, I think, is the 4-minute mile. I remember when I was learning about the guy who ran the 4-minute mile, they told us that nobody thought it was possible to run a mile in 4 minutes. But then when that guy did do that, suddenly many people after him could do it. And so that's an example also of like the fleas, except in the opposite direction, where somebody's reaching for their potential. And so I just thought it'd be a nice story to share because it would be telling us to keep an open mind and to think about the latent potentials that we have inside of us that we may be able to do. I mean, I know there must be. There's many things inside of us that we have yet to realize, and we don't even know what those things are, so we're not reaching for them inside of us to pull it out and then have those experiences using it. I can only imagine what some of those things are, and it's fun to think about if you were to time travel and take somebody from 500 years ago into the moment, into the present. They would be, I think, blown away themselves in the idea of what they're witnessing. They wouldn't understand flight and fast cars, and they would suddenly understand that inside of humanity was all this latent potential to come up with these new technologies. And that's what I'm trying to correlate with these fleas. There's so much potential in the universe itself, and therefore in us. And it's our job to find out what these things are. I mean, who knows what it could be? I'm sure it's going to be exciting and fun to figure out what these things are. And, my imagination instantly comes to things like flying would be nice, having a little bit more control over maybe our world around us, our body, and things like this when we want to. And when you think about it, we already do have these things. But I just wanted to end with this idea that these fleas, they had been conditioned to be limited in their experience. And therefore, after they were opened up to unlimited free experiences, they were still stuck in a position of being limited. And so this is extremely important as we raise people, as we raise kids, to not limit them, to not curtail their freedom. Freedom is so important that it may be, the lack of freedom is maybe the only limiting thing that we have. I guess I'll just leave it there. There's a lot I could say. And of course, I've got 10 million things going in my brain that I want to say, but I don't want to sound too confusing. So I love you guys. Have a great day. Bye-bye.